Have you ever noticed that the harder you try to grip life, the more it seems to slip through your fingers? We crave control, meticulously crafting plans, pushing for specific outcomes. Yet life, in its beautiful chaos, rarely cooperates. We find ourselves clinging to this illusion of control, and when it inevitably shatters, we crumble with it. But what if I told you that true strength, true resilience, doesn't reside in our grip, but in our ability to let go, to find our footing not in the stillness, but amidst the storm? What if, instead of chasing control, we learned to cultivate calm? In this video, we're going to explore 11 powerful principles, time-tested strategies that have guided individuals through darkness for centuries. These aren't quick fixes or magic formulas. These are tools, hard-won wisdom, that, when embraced, have the power to transform how you navigate the inevitable chaos of life. Before we dive into these principles, I want to share a story with you. A story about a man named James Stockdale, a man who stared down unimaginable adversity and emerged not unscathed, but unbroken. His story, like so many stories of resilience, holds a powerful lesson for us all. Imagine for a moment the intensity, the adrenaline of being a race car driver. You're strapped into a machine, hurtling at breakneck speed, the roar of the engine vibrating through your very core. The track ahead is unpredictable, filled with twists and turns, and the margin for error is razor thin. What separates the champions from the also-rans in this high-stakes world? It's not just raw talent or a need for speed, it's the ability to remain calm in the face of chaos. The best drivers don't panic when they hit a patch of gravel or lose control for a split second. They don't freeze or overreact. They adjust, they breathe, they tap into that deep well of calm and use it to navigate the unexpected. They understand that panic is the enemy of precision, and in those critical moments, precision is everything. Life, my friends, is often far more unpredictable than any racetrack. It throws curveballs, slams on the brakes, and sends us spinning off course when we least expect it. But the principle remains the same. Our ability to navigate those turbulent moments hinges on our capacity for calm. We often think of calmness as something that descends upon us in times of peace and tranquility. But the truth is, calm is a muscle, and like any muscle, it needs to be trained, strengthened, and conditioned for the challenges ahead. We don't build endurance by running a marathon without ever having jogged around the block. We build it incrementally, step by step, pushing our limits a little bit further each day. Calmness works the same way. It's cultivated in the quiet moments, in the mundane mishaps, in the everyday frustrations that life inevitably throws our way. The next time you spill your coffee, miss a deadline, or find yourself stuck in traffic, take a breath. Resist the urge to react, to spiral into frustration or self-recrimination. Instead, pause. Notice the sensations in your body. Notice the thoughts swirling in your mind. This, my friends, is your training ground. This is where you build the mental fortitude to face the bigger challenges, the unexpected storms that life will inevitably bring. Because if you can't find your center in a traffic jam, what will happen when the stakes are truly high? We live in a culture that glorifies busyness, that equates productivity with worthiness. We rush from one thing to the next, our minds constantly buzzing with to-do lists and worries, rarely pausing to simply be. But it's in the pause, in the space between stimulus and response, where our power lies. Think about it. When's the last time you made a good decision, a truly thoughtful choice, in the heat of anger or frustration? When we react from a place of overwhelm, we often make choices we later regret, choices that stem from fear and scarcity, not from our values or our truest selves. The next time you feel that familiar surge of panic, that tightening in your chest, that urge to lash out or shut down, hit the pause button. Give yourself the gift of a breath, a moment to collect yourself, to step outside the chaos of your thoughts and emotions. This pause, this intentional space, is not a sign of weakness. It's an act of radical self-compassion. It's a way to interrupt old patterns of reactivity and choose a different path, a path of intentionality and presence. When we react, we give away our power. We allow our emotions to dictate our actions, our thoughts to spiral into worst-case scenarios. But when we respond, we reclaim that power. We choose how we show up in the world, even in the midst of chaos. This shift from reacting to responding is a practice, a lifelong journey of self-awareness and deliberate choice-making. It's about learning to recognize our triggers, those things that send us spiraling, and developing healthier coping mechanisms. It's about understanding that we have a choice in every moment to react with fear and anger, or to respond with courage and compassion. It's about recognizing that our emotions, while powerful, don't have to control us. We can learn to ride the waves of our emotions without being swept away by the current. We can learn to be both fully present with our experiences and grounded in a deep sense of inner peace. And that, my friends, is the essence of true calm. We humans are funny creatures. We crave control, seeking it in every corner of our lives, from the mundane to the significant. We meticulously plan our days, our careers, our relationships, as if we have the power to orchestrate every detail, every moment. We cling to this illusion of control, believing that if we just hold on tight enough, if we just plan meticulously enough, we can somehow outrun the unpredictable nature of life. But the truth is, control is often nothing more than an illusion, a flimsy shield we use to protect ourselves from the inherent uncertainty of the human experience. We can't control the weather, the traffic, the stock market, or the actions of others, no matter how hard we try. Yet we exhaust ourselves trying, pouring precious energy into things that lie firmly outside our grasp, leaving us drained and frustrated. Think about it. How often do you find yourself caught in the grip of worry, stress eating your way through another bag of chips, because you're trying to micromanage something that's simply not yours to control? How often do you allow the actions or inactions of others to dictate your own sense of peace and well-being? The ancient Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely said, "Some things are up to us and some are not." This simple truth can be liberating. Only those who cling to the uncontrollable suffer, while those who accept it find peace. His words, though spoken centuries ago, ring truer than ever in our modern world, reminding us to focus on what we can control. Letting go of control can feel terrifying. It requires a level of trust, a willingness to surrender to the unknown that can feel deeply uncomfortable, even counterintuitive. Our minds, wired for survival, want to cling to the familiar, to the illusion of safety that control seems to offer. But what if, in letting go, we actually opened ourselves up to a different kind of freedom? A freedom that comes from accepting the limits of our power, from embracing the beauty of imperfection, from releasing the need to micromanage every aspect of our lives. Imagine for a moment what it would feel like to release the pressure you put on yourself to control the uncontrollable. What if, instead of trying to force a specific outcome, you allowed yourself to simply be present with the journey, to adjust your sails as needed, to trust that you have the strength and resilience to navigate whatever comes your way? Letting go doesn't mean becoming passive or resigning ourselves to a life of chaos. It means choosing to focus our energy on the things we can influence, our thoughts, our actions, our responses to the world around us. In the natural world, adaptability is the key to survival. Species that can't adapt to changing environments, to shifts in climate or food sources, simply don't survive. The same principle applies to us. Our ability to thrive, to not just survive but to flourish, depends on our capacity for adaptation. When we cling rigidly to our plans, our expectations, our need for things to go a certain way, we set ourselves up for disappointment, frustration, and often unnecessary suffering. We become brittle, easily broken by the inevitable curveballs that life throws our way. But when we cultivate adaptability, we become like water, flowing around obstacles, adjusting our course, finding new paths forward. We embrace change as an opportunity for growth, a chance to learn, to evolve, to become more resilient versions of ourselves. This doesn't mean we abandon our goals or stop striving for what we want. It simply means we hold our plans with an open hand, recognizing that the path to our destination may not always be linear, and that sometimes the detours lead to the most beautiful discoveries. Surrender, it's a word that often carries connotations of weakness, of defeat, but I want to offer a different perspective. Surrender in this context is not about giving up, it's about giving in. It's about surrendering to the wisdom of the present moment, to the flow of life, to the understanding that we don't always have all the answers, and that sometimes the most courageous thing we can do is let go. This practice of surrender is not a one-time event. It's a daily choice, a conscious decision to release our grip on the need to control, to trust that we are exactly where we're meant to be, even when it doesn't feel like it. It's about embracing the journey, not just the destination. It's about finding peace in the present moment, even amidst uncertainty. It's about having the courage to say, I don't know what the future holds, but I'm open to it. It's about trusting that even when things fall apart, we have the strength to pick up the pieces and create something new, something beautiful, something even more meaningful than what we imagined before. It's about transformation and growth. So I invite you to experiment with surrender. Let go of the reins for a day, an hour, even just a few minutes. Notice what arises when you release the need to control. Observe the subtle shifts in your mind and body. You might be surprised by the sense of peace, of freedom that emerges when you finally allow yourself to simply be. We spend so much time focusing on what's wrong, what's missing, what's making us anxious. It's like our brains are wired for negativity bias. But what if we could rewire them? What if we could train our minds to see the good, even amidst the chaos? Gratitude is the key. It's not about ignoring the tough stuff. It's about shifting our perspective. Think about it. When you plant a garden, you focus on nurturing the seeds, giving them what they need to thrive. You don't spend all day obsessing over the weeds. It's the same with our minds. When we actively cultivate gratitude, we're essentially planting seeds of resilience. We're choosing to focus on what's good, what's working, what we can be thankful for. And those seeds, with consistent care, will blossom into a more positive and resilient outlook. Sometimes the simplest acts have the most profound impact. Take a moment right now and just whisper the words, thank you. It might feel strange, maybe even silly, but there's something incredibly powerful about acknowledging the good in our lives. Even if it's just for a fleeting moment, we often wait for grand gestures and monumental achievements to express gratitude. But what about the everyday miracles? The roof over our heads, the food on our tables, the people who love us, the simple act of breathing. Try this every morning before you reach for your phone or get swept away by the day's to-do list. Say thank you out loud. It doesn't have to be complicated, just a heartfelt acknowledgement of something good in your life. We live in a culture that's always pushing us to achieve more, to be more, to have more. It's easy to get caught in the trap of feeling like we're never enough. But here's the thing. Gratitude isn't about grand achievements. It's about noticing the small wins. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to jot down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be earth-shattering. Maybe it's a delicious cup of coffee, a phone call with a friend, or simply a moment of peace and quiet. This practice, as simple as it seems, has a profound impact on our brains. By actively searching for things to be grateful for, we rewire our neural pathways to be more attuned to the positive. When we focus solely on what's lacking, we operate from a place of scarcity. We see the world as a limited pie, and we're constantly in competition for our slice. But when we cultivate gratitude, we tap into a mindset of abundance. We begin to recognize the richness and fullness that already exists in our lives. We see the interconnectedness of everything, and we understand that there's enough to go around. This shift from scarcity to abundance is a game changer. It allows us to approach challenges with more grace, to connect with others from a place of empathy, and to experience a deeper sense of joy and contentment. Remember, gratitude is a muscle. The more we use it, the stronger it becomes. Our minds are incredible things. They have the power to create, to imagine, to problem solve, but they also have the power to sabotage, to limit, to hold us back. And it all starts with our thoughts. Think about it. What we focus on expands. If we're constantly telling ourselves this is a disaster, our minds will seek out evidence to confirm that belief. We'll find more disasters, more reasons to feel overwhelmed, more reasons to give up. It's like wearing a pair of negativity glasses. Everything we see is filtered through that lens, distorting our perception and reinforcing our limiting beliefs. The good news is, we have the power to change our lenses. We can choose to reframe our thoughts, to shift our perspective, and to create a more empowering narrative. Instead of saying, "I can't handle this," we can choose to say, "This is tough, but I'll figure it out." Instead of focusing on the problem, we can focus on finding solutions. It's not about denying the challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing to see the situation through a more empowering lens. It's about believing in our ability to navigate the ups and downs of life with resilience and grace. Fear loves to whisper what-if scenarios in our ears. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What if everything falls apart? These what-if thoughts can paralyze us, keeping us stuck in a cycle of anxiety and inaction. But what if we challenge those what-ifs with even-ifs? Even if I fail, I'll learn something valuable. Even if it's hard, I'm capable of handling it. Even if things don't go as planned, I'll find a way forward. This simple shift in language can have a profound impact on our mindset. It allows us to acknowledge the challenges without letting them define us. It empowers us to move forward with courage, knowing that we have the strength and resilience to navigate whatever comes our way. Remember, our thoughts are not facts, they are simply interpretations of our experiences, and we have the power to choose more empowering interpretations. By consciously shifting our thoughts, we literally rewire our brains and create a new reality. It takes practice, there's no doubt about it, but with time and consistency, we can train our minds to focus on the positive, to embrace challenges as opportunities for growth, and to believe in our own limitless potential. Remember, you are the author of your own story. Choose your thoughts wisely. Imagine 2 people sitting on the same bus, heading to the same destination. One passenger spends the entire ride staring out the window, captivated by the beauty of the passing scenery. The other passenger, however, is glued to their phone, scrolling through social media, bombarded by negativity and comparison. Same bus, same journey, yet 2 completely different experiences. This simple analogy illustrates the power of focus. Where we choose to direct our attention shapes our perception of reality. It determines what we see, what we feel, and ultimately how we experience the world around us. Our brains are hardwired with a negativity bias, meaning we're naturally drawn to negative information. It's an evolutionary survival mechanism designed to keep us safe from potential threats. While this negativity bias served us well in the past, in today's world it often leads to unnecessary stress and anxiety. We're constantly bombarded with negative news, social media drama, and the pressures of a culture that thrives on comparison and scarcity. It's no wonder so many of us feel overwhelmed and exhausted. We're constantly feeding our minds a steady diet of negativity, leaving little room for joy, gratitude, or peace. Just like we make conscious choices about what we put into our bodies, we have the power to curate what we feed our minds. It's time to become mindful consumers of information, to be discerning about where we direct our attention, and to create boundaries around what we allow into our mental space. This might mean limiting your exposure to negative news, unfollowing social media accounts that trigger feelings of inadequacy, or setting boundaries with people who drain your energy. It's not about living in a bubble of blissful ignorance, it's about protecting your mental well-being and choosing to focus on what truly nourishes your soul. When we make a conscious effort to shift our focus from what's wrong to what's right, from what we lack to what we have, from fear to possibility, our entire experience of life begins to transform. We start to notice the beauty that surrounds us, the kindness of strangers, the small moments of joy that make life worth living. We tap into a deeper sense of gratitude, connection, and inner peace. Remember, your focus is your superpower. Choose wisely where you direct it, and watch as your reality begins to reflect your choices. Chapter 7. Rest is not laziness, it's strategy. We live in a culture that glorifies the hustle, where busyness is worn like a badge of honor. But what if I told you that constantly pushing yourself without a break isn't a sign of strength, but a recipe for burnout? See, our nervous systems weren't designed for this constant on mode. Just like your phone needs to recharge, your mind and body crave periods of rest to function optimally. It's in those moments of quiet and stillness that we truly recharge and reset. Think about it. Have you ever had a breakthrough idea or solution pop into your head when you were stressed and overwhelmed? Probably not. It's often when we step away, when we give ourselves permission to simply be, that clarity emerges. We've been conditioned to believe that rest is for the weak, that pushing through exhaustion is the only path to success. But the truth is, ignoring our need for rest is like driving a car with the emergency brake on. We might still move forward, but it's a struggle. And eventually, something's got to give. We end up feeling depleted, resentful, and far from our best selves. This isn't about being lazy. It's about recognizing that rest is an essential ingredient for a wholehearted, meaningful life. It's about understanding that our worthiness isn't tied to how much we do, but to how well we care for ourselves, even when it feels counterintuitive. So, how do we shift our perspective and embrace rest as the strategic advantage it truly is? It starts with challenging the belief that we always need to be on. What if we gave ourselves permission to slow down, to create space for stillness and quiet reflection in our lives? What if we viewed rest not as a luxury, but as a non-negotiable act of self-care, a way to show up more fully in all areas of our lives? This might look like scheduling in 30 minutes of screen-free time before bed, taking a walk in nature without your phone, or simply allowing yourself to sit and do nothing for a few minutes each day. Remember, rest is not a reward for hard work, it's an essential part of the work itself. It's an investment in our well-being, our creativity, and our ability to show up in the world as our most authentic selves. Disconnecting from the constant noise and demands of modern life allows us to reconnect with ourselves, to tap into our inner wisdom and resilience. It's in those moments of stillness that we often find the clarity and strength to navigate the chaos with more grace and ease. How we begin our day sets the stage for everything that follows. When we start our mornings reacting to the demands of the outside world, emails, texts, news feeds, we immediately surrender our power. We allow external forces to dictate our emotional state before we've even taken a moment to connect with ourselves. Instead of letting our phones hijack our mornings, what if we claimed the first hour as sacred time to connect with our own needs and intentions? Imagine waking up, and instead of reaching for your phone, you take a few deep breaths, feeling the ground beneath your feet. This isn't about adding another item to your to-do list. It's about creating a conscious pause, a moment of stillness before the day's demands take hold. When we start our days in a reactive mode, we're more likely to feel overwhelmed and stressed throughout the day. But when we consciously choose how we begin our mornings, we empower ourselves to respond to challenges with more intention and calm. This could mean spending a few minutes journaling, writing down our thoughts and feelings, or simply sitting in quiet reflection, noticing the sounds and sensations around us. It's about reclaiming those precious moments and choosing to fill them with what truly nourishes us. Even 5 minutes of mindful breathing or gentle stretching can make a world of difference in how we approach the day. It's about shifting from a mindset of scarcity, where we're constantly rushing, to one of abundance, where we create space for ourselves even amidst the chaos. Mastering our mornings isn't about achieving some idealized version of productivity. It's about cultivating a sense of presence and intention, about treating ourselves with the same kindness and compassion we would offer a loved one. Imagine starting your day by asking yourself, what do I need most today? Maybe it's a few moments of quiet, a healthy breakfast, or a reminder of what you're grateful for. Whatever it is, honor that need. You deserve to feel grounded and centered as you step into your day. When we prioritize our well-being from the moment we open our eyes, we send a powerful message to ourselves that we are worthy of care, that our needs matter, and when we show up for ourselves in this way, we create a ripple effect that extends to every aspect of our lives. Our relationships, our work, our overall sense of peace and purpose. Mastering our mornings isn't about perfection, it's about progress. It's about choosing every single day to show up for ourselves with intention and grace. Our minds are incredibly powerful tools capable of shaping our lives. What we focus on, what we believe, shapes our reality in profound ways, often beyond our understanding. And one of the most effective ways to harness this power is through visualization techniques. You see, our brains have a hard time distinguishing between what we vividly imagine and what we actually experience in reality. Athletes have known this for years, using visualization to improve their performance and achieve their goals. But this technique isn't just for elite athletes or professionals. It's a tool available to all of us, ready to be used at any moment. When we visualize ourselves navigating challenging situations with grace and composure, we're essentially giving our brains a rehearsal, training them to respond in a calm and collected manner when those situations arise in real life. Think about a situation that typically triggers anxiety or stress for you. Now, close your eyes and imagine yourself in that situation, but this time, you're handling it with a sense of calm confidence. See yourself breathing deeply, feeling grounded, and responding in a way that aligns with your values. Engage all your senses. What do you see, hear, feel? The more vivid the visualization, the more impactful it will be. Remember, this isn't about denying the difficulty of the situation or pretending it doesn't exist. It's about shifting our mindset from one of fear and overwhelm to one of resourcefulness and resilience. Visualization allows us to rewrite the script in our minds, to replace old patterns of fear and reactivity with new pathways of courage and composure. It's about consciously choosing how we want to show up in the world, even amidst uncertainty. And the more we practice this, the more automatic these responses become. It's like building a muscle. The more we use it, the stronger it gets. So, the next time you're feeling anxious or overwhelmed, remember the power of visualization. Close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and step into the image of your strongest, most resilient self. We all have within us an incredible capacity for courage and resilience. Sometimes we just need to remind ourselves of that. Visualization is a powerful tool for tapping into that inner strength, for reminding ourselves that we are capable of handling whatever life throws our way. It's about shifting from a place of I can't to a place of I've got this. And that, my friends, is a game changer. We've all been there, right? That moment when something unexpected happens and our emotions just take over, almost like a tidal wave. Maybe someone cuts you off in traffic, or you get some bad news and suddenly you're flooded with anger, frustration, or anxiety. Your heart starts racing, your breath gets shallow, and before you know it, you're reacting in a way you might later regret, feeling out of control. That, my friends, is the very essence of reactivity. You see, when we react from that place of emotional overwhelm, we're not really thinking clearly or rationally. We're not accessing the wisest, most compassionate parts of ourselves. We're operating from a place of fear and scarcity, and those reactions, they rarely lead to the outcomes we truly desire, often leaving us feeling worse. But here's the good news. We don't have to be slaves to our reactivity. We can train ourselves to respond to life's curveballs with more intention and grace. It all starts with recognizing that we have a choice in how we respond to any given situation. We can choose to let our emotions run the show, or we can choose to pause, breathe, and create a little space for ourselves. That space, my friends, is where the magic happens. That space is where we find our grounding, our clarity, and our ability to respond in a way that aligns with our values and intentions, leading to a more fulfilling life. I know. Easier said than done, right? When that wave of emotion hits, pausing can feel like the last thing you want to do. It can feel counterintuitive, even impossible at times, but trust me on this one. That pause, however fleeting, is absolutely crucial. Think of it like this. Imagine you're about to walk into a room where you know there's some tension. Maybe it's a difficult conversation you've been avoiding, or a family gathering where there's some unresolved conflict. You wouldn't just barge in without taking a moment to collect yourself, would you? You might take a few deep breaths, remind yourself of your intentions, or simply acknowledge the emotions bubbling up inside. That's the power of the pause. It allows us to create a little distance between the stimulus and our response. It gives us a chance to check in with ourselves and ask, what's happening here? What am I feeling? And how do I want to respond in a way that feels authentic and aligned with my values? Okay, so we've established that pausing is important. But what do we do with that pause? How do we actually calm those racing thoughts and that pounding heart? Well, one of my favorite tools for navigating those moments of overwhelm is a simple breathing technique called the 4-7-8 breath. It's incredibly easy to learn and you can do it anytime, anywhere. Here's how it works. Find a comfortable position, close your eyes if you'd like, and gently press your tongue to the roof of your mouth just behind your front teeth. Now exhale completely through your mouth, making a soft whooshing sound. Then inhale quietly through your nose to a mental count of 4. Hold your breath for a count of 7. And finally exhale completely through your mouth, again making that soft whooshing sound to a count of 8. Repeat this cycle 4 times. That's it. Simple, right? But don't let the simplicity fool you. This little breathing exercise is a powerful tool for calming the nervous system and shifting us from a state of reactivity to a state of responsiveness. You see, when we're stressed or anxious, our sympathetic nervous system kicks in, triggering that fight or flight response we talked about earlier. The 4-7-8 breath helps to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for the relaxation response. It's like hitting the reset button on your emotional state. And the best part, it only takes a few minutes. Now, I'm not suggesting that this one breathing technique is a magic bullet that will instantly eliminate all your stress and reactivity. But it's a powerful tool to have in your back pocket for those moments when you feel yourself getting triggered. The next time you're faced with a challenging situation, before you react, remember to breathe. Take a pause, connect with your breath, and give yourself the gift of a moment of presence. You might be surprised by the difference it makes. We live in a world obsessed with noise. Our phones buzz with notifications, our cities hum with activity, and our minds race with a million thoughts. It's exhausting, isn't it? This constant barrage of stimulation leaves us feeling frazzled and disconnected from ourselves. We begin to believe that the only way to find peace is to escape from it all. But what if I told you that the true path to calm lies not in escaping the noise, but in seeking out silence? It might seem counterintuitive in our always-on culture, but trust me on this, silence is not emptiness. It's a sanctuary where clarity resides. It's in the quiet moments that we can finally hear our own thoughts, connect with our intuition, and find the stillness we crave. Think about it. When was the last time you truly unplugged? No phone, no computer, no distractions, just you and the quiet hum of the world around you. Were you surprised by a sense of peace you hadn't realized you were missing? Did you feel a weight lift from your shoulders as the constant need to be on dissipated? That's the power of silence. It allows us to step away from the chaos of the world and reconnect with ourselves. In those moments of quiet contemplation, we gain perspective, find clarity, and tap into a wellspring of inner strength we may not have even known we possessed. We begin to understand that our worthiness is not tied to our productivity or our ability to keep up with the relentless pace of modern life. I know what you might be thinking, Brené. I can barely find time to shower, let alone sit in silence for hours. And you're right, life is busy. But finding silence isn't about carving out hours in a monastery. It's about creating small pockets of stillness throughout your day. Start with just 10 minutes. Find a quiet corner in your home, step outside into nature, or simply close your eyes at your desk. Let go of the need to fill the space with noise and simply be present with yourself. Notice the rise and fall of your breath, the sensations in your body, the gentle hum of the world around you. It might feel strange at first, but with practice, you'll find that those 10 minutes become a sanctuary you crave. In the silence, we create space for our inner wisdom to emerge. It's like turning down the volume on all the external noise so we can finally hear the whispers of our own hearts. We begin to understand what truly matters to us, what brings us joy, and what no longer serves us. This is where the magic happens. This is where we connect with our authentic selves, where we find the courage to be vulnerable, and where we discover the strength to live a life that is true to who we are. So, embrace the silence. It holds the key to unlocking your calmest, most courageous self. We often think of calmness as a mental state, something we achieve through sheer willpower or positive thinking. But what if I told you that the path to a calmer mind often begins in our hands? You see, our bodies hold on to tension in ways we don't even realize. Stress manifests as tight shoulders, clenched jaws, and a constant feeling of unease. Our hands, in particular, have an incredible ability to soothe our nervous systems. Think about it. When we were children, we used our hands to explore the world, to create, to play. These tactile experiences brought us comfort and joy. As adults, we can tap into that same sense of grounding and calm by engaging in activities that allow us to work with our hands. The act of creating something tangible with our hands can be incredibly therapeutic. It shifts our focus away from our worries and anxieties and channels our energy into something positive and productive. Whether it's kneading dough for a loaf of bread, tending to a garden, knitting a scarf, or simply doodling in a notebook, engaging in these tactile activities allows us to connect with the present moment and find a sense of flow. As we lose ourselves in the rhythm of our hands, our minds begin to quiet and a sense of peace washes over us. The key is to find an activity that resonates with you, something that allows you to get lost in the process. Don't worry about being good at it. The goal is not to create a masterpiece, but to simply allow your hands to guide you. Experiment with different mediums and see what speaks to you. Maybe you find solace in the smooth glide of a paintbrush across canvas, the satisfying click of knitting needles, or the grounding feeling of working with clay. The possibilities are endless. In a world dominated by screens and technology, it's more important than ever to reconnect with the tangible world around us. By incorporating tactile activities into our daily routines, we not only cultivate a sense of calm and presence, but also tap into a deep wellspring of creativity and resilience. So the next time you feel overwhelmed by the chaos of life, step away from the screens, grab some art supplies, and let your hands lead the way to a calmer, more grounded you. Remember, mastering chaos isn't about living in a constant state of Zen-like bliss. Life is messy, unpredictable, and sometimes downright overwhelming. But within that chaos lies an incredible opportunity for growth, resilience, and deep, abiding joy. You don't need a perfect life to experience calm. You just need a resilient mindset, a mindset that embraces the ups and downs, that finds strength in vulnerability, and that chooses to meet each challenge with courage and grace. So, which of these secrets resonated with you most? Which one are you ready to put into practice today? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to share this video with someone who might need a little more calm in their life. Remember, you are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and more capable than you think. Now, go out there and create a life that reflects the calm, courageous soul you truly are. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who needs to hear this. And remember to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Stay calm and